Good morning, everybody. I almost said good evening. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels. I guess it might be evening when they're listening. Who knows?
It's morning or evening depending on where you are.
That's true. That's
It's
true.
morning in America.
I mean, maybe.
Depends on how you spell it.
Right. Um, Welcome back to the Fourth World Book Club on 22 Panels. I'm joined by uh, actor and playwright Mark Pracht and actor Sean Harklerode, both out of Chicago. Cool, cool guys. And today we are going to, well, we are definitely going to talk about New Gods number 7 and Mr. Miracle number 7. And if we have time, we also read Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen numbers 144 and 45 and Forever People number 7. But I think any 2 pages of New Gods and Mr. Miracle had more to talk about than those 3 issues combined,
Yeah,
at
I
least.
think that I think I think that our thoughts on Jimmy Olsen and my thoughts on Jimmy Olsen and Forever People can be summed up in 2 words: killing time.
Hey, hey! I mean, cool monsters for
Sure.
Jimmy Olsen.
Right. And on the last page of 145, Jimmy turns into the mad thinker. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
So, I mean,
yeah.
okay, we're done.
And
Well, does
Abraham
anybody have
Lincoln,
any words, any other words for Forever People? I don't even have
Look,
any other
I
words for
I
ever,
Forever
mean,
People.
like I think that there's something to be said about the fact that Jimmy Olsen is the book that Jack took sort of because they wanted him to do one of the flagship characters, and it was like depending on how you look, how depending on what story you want to believe, either he asked for the one that had the lowest sales, or he asked for the one that didn't have a solid creative team on it because he didn't want to put anybody out of work. Okay, fine. But I mean, like, I think that Jimmy Olsen is it's rehashing a lot of ideas that he already had done in the golden age,
Right.
and forever
And
people.
sometimes with the reprints of those at the back of the.
Sure. Yeah, 100%. And
Here's Jimmy
even
Olsen.
though,
Here's when I did it better 20 years ago.
well, and the thing is like you do have that element of uh like one thing I'm sort of thankful for is that the digital reprint that I'm reading doesn't have that stuff. So I
Right.
can't sit there and go like, well, the Newsboy Legion was better back then. But and that I really do feel like Forever People never found what
Yeah.
that series is about. Like, the God, it's been so long since we've seen him. I don't even remember the guy that they combine into
Right.
Union Man.
the Uni Man or whatever it
Right.
is. And we haven't even seen that character for like 5 issues. And there's only
And,
been like 7 issues.
I mean, there are 2 things that I will say that are unequivocally positive about one about Jimmy Olsen, one about Forever People. About Jimmy Olsen, it's that I would be very willing to bet that should we go back to the Jimmy Olsens immediately preceding Jack's run, these are exponentially better. I can't
Possibly.
guarantee it because I haven't read them, but based on what I know of just comics at the era and like what this type of title can be, um, and
Yeah.
also I like that Jimmy Olsen is kind of what ties the fourth world into the DC universe. It's what allows for like the Great Darkness Saga. It's what
Sure.
allows for any number of things.
That's
So
that's that's 100% true. I just think like the one thing we can say about this issue of Forever People is that it takes the what is it, the Omega effect, and explains what the Omega effect is, but then in
yeah,
explaining it almost immediately takes the terrifying Omega effect, and it's like, oh yeah, but you just go back in time and find where they went, you
Yeah.
know.
It's
right.
Weeping Angels.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, first of all, Infinity Man.
Mm,
That's
sorry.
Yeah,
And I should know that. I really should. But like
yeah, it happens.
it's been
Mm.
forever since we've seen that character.
It's been forever, people.
Forever, people.
I would say that, back to Forever People, and I know we just to get this started, I think that it felt like Jack just wanted to draw a bunch of different things, and there's some great visuals there. The Roman Legion there,
Yeah, yeah.
Abraham Lincoln. It seemed fun for Jack anyway,
Well,
and
and that like leads perfectly to my other comment about the Forever People is it's got a ton of good ideas. And since at least for me, and why we'll move on to them almost immediately, this is where New Gods and Mr. Miracle became like absolutely vital and vibrant rather than cool with moments,
Yeah.
right?
right,
This is the turning point in
right.
New Gods and Mr. Miracle.
But
It,
I I
and it
also
kind of
wanted to
felt like he was teasing it out until he got here. So I wonder if he just never got to tease Forever People long enough for it to coalesce.
yeah
I think that Forever People was about trying to reach the kids, you know. Um
is
and
listening to what the flower people say.
like a bolt out of the blue. Ah, Sean and I both saw Spinal Tap too. So, um,
Uh, it looks
uh,
really good. I'm looking forward to it.
Very funny.
it's funny. I mean, like, is it as good as the original? But
It's not.
to the point, um, I think the Forever People started out as one thing, and then it never really. I think, despite everything that anybody wants to say about these series, I think Forever People is where you see that Jack knew that maybe the book wasn't hitting the way he wanted it to, right?
Right.
Because it just starts to meander, right? And I feel like it's been meandering for quite a while. I mean, like, he introduces Sonny Sumo like he's going to be this incredible character, and he was. And then it's like, oh yeah, but then he was gone.
Right.
And that was what I was going to say earlier. Sonny Sumo, he rescues everyone else, but leaves Sonny back in time for Seraphin to determine
Well,
to
to
discover that
become, I
a
think,
hero.
yeah, well, I mean, like, it also, I think it subtly suggests that he becomes Buddha. And I'm like, okay. Um, but that's neither here nor there. Like,
Right.
they're not very interesting. They don't. I think that it undercuts a lot of the drama that it tried to lead up to, and it just is not much of anything, right? And yeah, I think turning to the stuff that's really interesting is that, yeah, I think that this is a big turning point for both New Gods and Mr. Miracle, to the point where I think this book should have been New Gods #1. Like,
I think it would have been a
New Gods
really
#7, everyone.
yeah, yeah,
right. Yeah, I
Right.
think it would have been. I mean, this is like the extreme version of Matt Fraction's your third issue is your first issue.
sure. I mean, like, and I understand trying to connect people to things, but like all of this, I'm all of this stuff about uh Orion fighting for Earth, like they keep talking about this war happening on Earth, and I don't really feel like we've seen that. I
Right.
think we've seen a lot of machinations,
Right.
but not a real, solid, viable, like, Darkseid is coming to take over Earth, right? Because
Right.
that doesn't feel what it's like. It feels like Darkseid is like, oh, look, I've made a deal with Intergang, and I've made a deal with these, and I've put these people into a research facility, and it's like, okay, great, but and but like
I think almost everything we've gotten so far in terms of story would work much better as like one or two pages aside in a story that otherwise started with this issue.
right.
Right.
Because I mean, and I think that one of the things that I did clock about this particular issue, which I thought was great, um, was the revelations of it. We already know. Like
Right.
we already know that Orion is Darkseid's son. We already know that Scott Free. I don't know if did we know that he was Highfather's son? I think I just assumed that at this point, but
I think
uh,
we've been told once.
yeah. I mean, like, and it's sort of like this, oh, and I mean, like, I can nitpick the Pact, um, as like I don't quite understand why this trading of sons stopped this massive war, you know? Uh,
I mean, I think
I
when
mean,
it's been
it's
done in history, it's supposed to be you wouldn't kill your own family.
well, yeah. I mean, like, it's also the same thing of like you could have like
It's like
it's
the
an
trading of hostages.
it's
I have this thing that means something to you. I mean, it's almost the mutual assured destruction.
Sure. But
Only,
and like, but I mean, it's a nitpicky thing, but it's also like there's there's examples of this in mythology ad
well,
infinitum,
and I was
right?
about to say, mind you, I think mutual assured destruction isn't actually a good like. I don't think it's the deterrent that people think it is.
Well, and I also think that, uh introducing opposite thought into your society is not necessarily a bad thing,
Oh,
or
that's
nor
a
is it
yeah,
or a way to maintain um I want to say cohesion, but that's not the word that I'm looking for. Maintain a monolithic train of thought, right?
right,
And I think that uh, in both of these cases, and like this, I mean, this is the crux of the story, right? Orion comes to New Genesis and becomes its greatest hero, right?
right,
Uh, they've occasionally referred to him as the god of war on a planet that has no war, right? Or
right.
doesn't. And then you have Scott Free, who comes to Apocalypse, and clearly Granny Goodness is infatuated with him in some way or another. Uh, I know it makes it uncomfortable when I talk about the sexuality of Granny Goodness with Sean, but uh,
Hey, man, we all have our things.
and Jack had a thing. Um, but I mean, like, look, I don't know. I think I'll just shut up now. But I think that it's a deep. I like you can nit like as with any like fairy tale or mythological story, you can nitpick the thing to death, but it works and it's
Well,
powerful.
yeah. I mean, I think with Granny Goodness and Scott, I think that he's good. He's Highfather's son,
Yeah.
and she's a sadist, and I think she just likes torturing him.
Well, and she wants to defile him.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that like it's subtextual. Don't I mean, I think it's all subtextual. Like what I'm talking about is entirely subtextual, but I think that there is an element of sexuality that's into this whole thing. I mean, like I Jack's not dumb, right? Anyway,
Right.
somebody else talk.
No,
I talk too much.
I like your talk.
So I'd never read this one before, and I never really heard the origin of Highfather. So I thought that was, really played into the Moses myth.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I thought that was really interesting. I also didn't know that Steppenwolf was Darkseid's uncle.
Yeah, that was a little strange.
Yeah, and say one other great one other thing that got me. I think it's Steppenwolf when he says what I was thinking when uh, Darkseid has that death glove.
Yeah.
My friend Desaad made this, and he's like, I find it odd that Desaad would create something that just kills someone outright. Because I thought the same thing. Is like Desaad killing someone fast. I don't understand that.
That seems out of character. You know what I did love about it, when we talk about the Highfather thing, like I honestly wish that Jack had spent more time with Highfather, because this makes Highfather a really interesting character, much more interesting than he's been as the high priest kind of thing that he's been so far. But I mean, like, and uh one thing that struck me as I was reading it was the the uselessness of revenge as a motivation. And I mean, I think that is so telling for our world right now, because I think that when oh God, what was his name before he became Highfather?
Isaiah.
Isaiah, right? When Isaiah is just like, I'm going to gain revenge, he can't.
Well, I guess it might be pronounced Isaiah.
It might be
Then,
Isaiah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, Isaiah. And I think that is that struck me as I was reading this book over and over again.
Yeah.
And everyone is struck silent by my
Yeah, I mean,
deep thoughts.
deep thoughts
Deep thoughts with Jack
by
Kirby.
Jack Andy.
I took my nephew and I told him we were going to Disneyland, and I took him to a burned down warehouse and said, well, sorry, Disneyland burned down. I think that was a funny joke. Anyway, all apologies to Jack Handy for my bad memory of how that joke actually goes.
Uh,
The other thing I loved about it, sorry,
no, please.
I'm filling dead air now, is I liked seeing a Darkseid that was striving for power rather than having it.
Yeah.
I thought that was super cool.
Right.
I think, and I am, it's funny on this reread of all of this, I'm sort of struck by the Darkseid sort of reminds me of the best characterizations of Victor Von Doom. Like, yeah, he's a tyrant and he's a overlord and total domination, but there is like there's an like he always seems to disavow cruelty, he lets
Yeah.
other people be cruel, right? It's fascinating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he has. I mean, and I know Thanos came later, so really Thanos has dark side elements where it's not always as much about cruelty as much as it's about some sort of balance, some sort of. Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously I think the MCU,
I mean, he's looking for the anti-life equation.
Right.
He
I mean, I've always felt that the MCU Thanos owed more to Darkseid than really I mean
Then
I
Starlin.
than the Starlin one, because I always the yeah, it's getting kind of the Thanos that was out to court death, that it
Yeah.
was all about love for
Right.
the actual embodiment of death. I always thought that that was super interesting in that how far was he willing to go just for his love,
Right.
and I think that this whole like balance thing, it seems like an intellectual exercise that was just designed to not have to grapple with something that was hard to convey on film,
Right.
even though, I remember when, sorry, this is getting off topic, but
We
like
always get off topic.
I remember when Ragnarok came out and we had Hela show up, and they were like, "Oh, Hela is going to be the stand-in for death for Thanos." And I was like, "Oh, that's a great idea," and then they didn't do that. And Kate Blanchett went into that. Kate Blanchett in the was like, "Oh, no, I'm done. Thanks. Thanks. I'd like the check. It was great." Uh, but went into that great big bin of Marvel Cinematic Universe characters that we will never see again. But no, I think, I just there's so it's really clear that this is kind of the point, excuse me, that this book shows what the point of this whole thing is. I mean, and I don't think it's very well thought out. I think Mark Evanier was right at that panel that I don't think Jack had this grand idea that was like worked out in steps. But I think he knew like this. It's sort of like when I talk about George Lucas and the original Star Wars trilogy, like I think the the target at the end was clear, right? That it was going to be about a father and son, and that there was going to be some sort of revelation about that. And that when you know that, you can sort of shuck and jive around to figure out how to get there, right? You can make changes on the fly or whatever. But I think that this is the whole point as to, and we'll see as we get into the later stuff. I don't think he quite knew how that was going to play out or what it was supposed to mean. Um, but at least he knew what it the like this is the alpha of this whole thing, right? And as we were saying, it should have been the first issue.
Yeah.
Or
And
it
I
should
I
it
I
should have
actually kind of think similarly of Mr. Miracle, even though there were more
yeah.
good Mr. Miracles before this.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, and I think there were good New Gods issues before
right.
this, but
I just meant that there were more good new Mr. Miracle. Mr. Miracle seems to be the one that he kind of had some grasp on relatively quickly, even if he
well,
didn't
I
have
think
him posited
I,
in the universe.
I also think that Mr. Miracle sort of functioned like could just function as a regular superhero book, really.
Right.
Right.
And and as we'll see, it does function as a regular superhero book once everything else imploded, right? And um and in a lot of ways, that's where Kirby's skill lies, right? Um, but you know, I sort of shifting to Mr. Miracle, like I love it's a great book, It's like we're gonna finally take the battle back to Apocalypse. You know, Barda and Scott are gonna go in there and uh and I loved uh what's his name? God, my brain is not working anymore.
Bard is farewell
Canto.
to Oberon. Oh,
Oh, Barda's Farewell to Oberon, of course, is classic. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess that Barda's Farewell to Oberon is classic. Roz Kirby.
Yeah.
Um,
But it also
but,
it's the one moment where we get my favorite version of Barda so far. You know, that's the Barda that feels like the Tom King Barda, the Cecil Castellucci Barda, the Kelly Thompson Barda that is like this big, massive, powerful, don't fuck with me
right.
Hulk of a woman who still has the capability of being affectionate.
So Roz Kirby.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. No. I didn't say that you were wrong. I was putting it into a perspective for those people who haven't written a play that required them to do extensive research into Roz Kirby,
Wait. Who is
but
listening to
maybe
this who
have read
doesn't know about
recent,
Roz Kirby?
but maybe have read recent depictions of Big Barda.
um, but
I
I
love
love
it, Mark.
Bart.
The one time I feel like I can contribute something legitimate and you still rip me.
Um,
This is how I know we're friends.
uh, I also love the fact that the primary villain of this story is a total mercenary. I mean, we have Kanto, who is not a acolyte of Darkseid either. You know, it's really just about the test of skills. I always love that kind of character. Um, uh, the, but man, they do get a lot of ground out of the power rod in this thing.
They do.
Oh, the power rod. Um,
there's an old Hollywood actor that Kanto looks a lot like, and I can't think of who it is. I can hear his voice. I'm trying to figure out
there's a little Basil Rathbone there,
a little.
or Basil Rathbone. Sorry, apologies to the Rathbone family. Um, yeah, no, I think there's just so much. There's so much like these two issues. Like it, it's really funny how this particular month, uh, the Jimmy Olsen stuff was so, and the Forever People was like, ugh. And these two are so good, right? And it really, I think you can really see where Jack is like, okay, this is where my heart lies, and this is where I'm going to get real um, mileage out of this mythology that I'm creating or exploiting. Um, I don't know. I good death trap um, for Scott. We get to see Granny Goodness in her bedclothes. Uh-huh. Oh
Taking her
yeah.
medicine.
Taking her medicine. Um, the lump. I have to admit the young Scott Free stories. Um, all of the
Wait, we didn't go into a Presence of the United States of America riff with the lump.
The lump, the lump, it's in my head. Du-du-du-du-du.
I guess we can
okay
get that next
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 month
month.
Next issue.
Really?
next month make sure I'll make sure that I have the audio of that ready to go. Um, I don't know. I mean, like I think that the other thing that you can say about both of these issues, both these two really great issues, they don't stop. They don't spend a lot of time on exposition. They don't spend a lot I mean, like the entirety of the pact is exposition, but it's exposition through action, right? Like shit's happening all the time. And sometimes, I mean, I will admit that at times during reading the Pact, I was like, um, okay, I'm not quite sure how we got from here to here, but let's just roll with it. And that is classic Jack Kirby. um, and I think there's a lot of that with Mr. Miracle too. I always I mean, and it's part and parcel of the series, and it's part and parcel of the concept. But I mean, like this idea that, okay, we're just gonna put you in front of a firing squad, but we can't just shoot you. We're gonna put you on this like metronome thing.
Right.
It's like, okay, why? Um,
It's the formula, right?
it's the formula. It's
That's
100% the formula.
that's what I that came to me. I was like, why don't you just this could all be over?
If
I mean, but it wouldn't be as interesting of a drawing,
Right.
yeah, it's true.
maybe.
I mean, like, look, man, like all of this is about, Kirby putting as much energy into the page as possible, right? I mean, and even really static pages, like I'm looking at page 12 of Mr. Miracle number 7. Like it's it's almost pure exposition stuff. It's like landscape,
Oh yeah.
nothing much going on, but man, it just pops. It pops. There's stuff going. I mean, like there's just stuff to look at.
I think the coloring on that is really interesting.
Yeah.
It's so dull
Yeah.
uh, compared to the action, even in the facing page.
Right.
Just showing the gloom of apocalypse.
Apocalypse. I mean, yeah, I think oh God, what was the other thing? There was a page in New Gods that I was like, oh wow. Um, I think it's when they bomb the pit and the fire pit goes out. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. Oh, and oh, okay. I'm sorry. Uh New Gods, page 20, when Isaiah goes to the source wall.
Yeah.
That's fuck. That is Kirby at its best, right? Like, and there's so much in that you can see where other things he worked on, like with the wall standing there, you're like, okay, that was he had he saw 2001, you know, and
And the Ten
Well, I
Commandments.
mean, didn't he
and the
wind
Ten
up
Commandments.
drawing 2001?
Yeah, he sure
Yeah.
did. But I'm just saying
Yeah.
that, like, the one of the fun things about Kirby is to see where he like ideas come in and then he changes them. We have at times talked about um Commandi, right?
Yeah.
And that that whole series started out as a Planet of the Apes riff, and then
Right.
the rights fell through, and DC was like, "Can we do something else with this?" And and Kirby was like, "Well, instead of just being human apes or apes that can talk, we'll just make it all these animals, all these different animals." And I'm like, "Okay, great, run with it." To the point where you have the Rex Statue of Liberty on the cover of Commandy #1. I mean, like, it's not, and then you have the Kirbyites who are like, oh, no one had done talking animals before Kirby. And then, everybody's going back through all of these like Hugo novels and, like, it's like this has been going on since like fucking Island of Dr. Moreau. Like,
Right.
Jack didn't
Well,
invent
I mean, I've
everything.
never really
Not
understood
like House
it.
of Pain.
It is a definite thing where people want to claim that their um uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Creative idols, whether it's music, movies, whatnot,
Sure.
are completely original. They've done this thing that nobody has ever done before. And
Yeah.
like that's not true of anything since like fire.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, absolutely. I mean, and the thing
And
is
I
like,
don't know why it makes it. I mean, it's clearly a thing with a lot of people, but I don't know what makes it better to be able to say that you did it first rather than
it
just
it
best.
doesn't it doesn't make it better. Like, and the thing is if like Kirby was here with us right now, he would be like, of course, yeah, like, oh yeah, source wall, yeah. I saw 2001. I thought that thing looked cool, so I thought I would draw
Right.
that kind of in a similar way. Like Commandy, yeah, it did come out of like originally it was supposed to be a Planet of the Apes book, and we changed it. Blah blah blah. Like that doesn't make it any more or less
Oof.
creative. It just makes it like everybody is influenced by everything, right? Like everything you read becomes part of what you create, and
Right.
that like and but I think that there's such I mean, and this gets kind of the heart of a lot of why what I find frustrating about fandom, especially right now, is that there is a whole group of people who are desperate to prove that Kirby did everything and he was this visionary. It's the same, it's like the Roddenberry effect, right? Like that Gene Roddenberry, and Roddenberry's kind of a really great example because he got high on his own supply and started selling himself as this visionary of the future, right? And making the show, like when Next Generation came, it like taking stuff that was part and parcel of the original series and saying like, oh, that just doesn't exist in my future. And it's like, interpersonal conflict doesn't exist in your future. How do you explain Kirk and why? How do you explain Spock and McCoy arguing constantly? I mean, like it's it. How do you explain? I mean, like all of this stuff is like it. It's it's almost, and I feel that it all comes from a fan base thing.
Yeah.
Is that they desperately want to prove that somebody is a visionary, is the original source of everything. Like, okay, yeah, I understand that the mother box, like you think that Jack Kirby invented cell phones because of the mother box, but like half the time the mother box looks like a Xbox console. You know,
Right.
the mother box that the um the mother box that the forever people have doesn't look anything like a cell phone. Like it's anyway, it's like I don't like these ideas have been floating around forever, and it's only because this is where you were exposed to these things makes you think
Well,
that
and I mean,
your creator created it. Yeah.
even even with the that like Star Trek precedes Fourth World, and doesn't a communicator also predate?
Tricorder. I mean, like
Right.
it's all of this stuff. Look,
I
I
mean,
mean,
just
and
using the two fandoms we're talking about right now.
yeah, I mean, like, and like in a way, like, and I don't want to open a can of worms here, but at least George Lucas was always like, oh yeah, this is all Joseph Campbell stuff.
Right.
I took
And
all of this.
Kurosawa stuff and
Yeah, I mean, like it's just all stuff that I saw and I
Flash
used.
Gordon.
Right. And
Lenny Riefenstahl.
you had to bring that up, didn't you? Jesus, man. Um,
Wait a minute, are
uh,
you calling George Lucas the N-word?
No, I'm just saying
Okay.
there's definitely that imagery is involved. Um, but I had some other point that I was going to make. Now I've lost it. Um,
Sorry.
it's okay. Somebody brought up the N word, and I just. um, but I think that. This is what I was going to say.
Nerd.
The
Yeah, he's
nerd.
definitely a nerd.
Was that the
Speaking of nerds,
Me too.
yeah. Speaking of nerds, we did get the I had I thought that I had mistakenly said that the Forever People were based on the uh, the the original San Diego Comic-Con crowd. Wrong. It's the San Diego Six String Mob is
That's based on them.
that's the kids that started San Diego Comic-Con
Ah,
or the Golden State Comic-Con. And strangely enough, Jack makes them bad guys. Oh, no,
hmm.
We're not going to read too much into that one.
no, we shouldn't. I think it's just a tribute.
Yeah.
Uh, but you know, that's something vaguely interesting to talk about in those Jimmy Olsen books. I mean, although I remembered them being a bigger factor, they kind of just show up and then leave.
Yeah. Well, and
Jack's like, I'll put you in the book for like a page.
when oh, who's the girl, the promoter who owns the discotheque?
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
She asks, like, yes, I'd like I'd like to know too. I hired them to play in my discotheque. And then Superman, that's not important. I want to know what they came for. It's like, who were those kids? That's not important. Well, I think that Terry Dean would like to.
Isn't that kind of the move along? Nothing to see here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like, look, I do think, I mean, like, and this has sort of been it was right about the time that Jack started going to San Diego that he became very interested in controlling his own work. And I certainly understand people want to control their own work. That makes sense. That's totally thing. But I mean, I do think that there is an element of starting to go to that convention and meeting those kids and having kids come to his house and be like, "Oh, you're the greatest thing ever," and you know, and I think that it made him not want to have other people work with him. And I mean, like there's genius stuff here, genius stuff, and certainly the art is brilliant. But I do think that uh, a solid writer or editor could have made all of these books a lot better.
Oh yeah.
And I think that you cannot argue with the ideas. You can't, because DC has been exploiting these ideas for 40 years, 50 years. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too far into it. That's sort of like wrap up stuff. But uh
Well, we are actually kind of at wrap up of this episode time.
uh well, I mean, like wrap up of the series things.
Oh,
But I
okay.
mean, like I think yeah. So I always feel like I just blather on. So let somebody else wrap up.
John, any parting shots?
No, I'm going to leave that one there. Uh, no, I'm interested to see, where we go next month.
Yeah.
Particularly, like say, New Gods, and New Gods and Mr. Miracle. I think were just
Yeah.
really great.
Well,
Well,
and
I will
uh,
say I will say the next issue of New Gods is one of my favorites.
I mean, there are a couple of things I'll
There's
toss
a
out,
teaser.
which is that also that I think for our purposes we are done with Jimmy Olsen.
Are we?
I don't think we have any more on the list.
Hold on.
I mean, there's a few more. He did a few more.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So see that's the problem. The list is weird. We're not done. There's says 145 and 147 next month. Did he do
No,
146?
146 is
Is that a
one of
fill-in?
his.
Yeah,
Okay.
146 and
Yeah.
147.
I mean, in
So,
146, he revisits
oh,
the
I see.
turn Jimmy Olsen
I
into the
messed it
Hulk
up
thing.
and we had 145. So, okay, next month is our last Jimmy Olsen.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
there is going to become a point. There is going to come a point where this podcast will be solely about Mr. Miracle.
Right.
that'll be next February.
Yep.
February and March, and then one New God story, and then the Hunger Dogs. So, I mean, we're about at the halfway point.
Yep. Isn't that
Um,
exciting?
it is. It is. And I will say that like this month was important to me because I was starting to lag.
Mhm.
I've gotten to the point where I've been reading the necessary material later and later because it's almost a chore.
Mhm.
But the
Yeah.
the New Gods and the Mr. Miracle here made me go, okay.
Yeah, Jack still has stuff to talk about, and
Right,
it's coming. I think that doing Jimmy Olsen, which it's like the stuff I talked about at the beginning. I think that Jimmy Olsen was something that he just did because the company wanted him to do it,
right,
and I don't feel like Forever People ever had a real thrust to it. And I
right,
think that now he's starting to I think he's getting his sea legs with the core of what is happening here. And I 100% agree with you because, like, I know I talk about this time that I read all of these on an overnight flight.
right,
And it was right about this point that I was just like, I think I could chew my own arm off, but I was like, I'm going to finish these before I land in London. And by the time I did, I was happy that I had read the whole thing.
right.
I'm not going to say that the last couple of things are great, but they're not this early stuff. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
Well, I think that's a great point to stop. And it is, as always, been a pleasure. And for Mark Pratt and Sean Harklerode, this has been the Fourth World Book Club on 22 panels, and we will see you after the next page.